Hey, I'm Robert Kasak, one of the owners and co-founders of 612 Brew. We started our brewery in February 2013, but we actually started building the brewery in 2012. We wrote a business plan in 2010, and I was actually homebrewing in the early 2000s. I got my start in love for craft beer after tasting some beers up at Vickers in Duluth, and then brought that passion back down to the Twin Cities, where I started looking for locally made craft beers. When I saw that there wasn't a whole lot of locally made craft beers at the time, that's when I started brewing my own, making my own varieties that I wanted to taste, and trying to get some examples from other people who were making really good craft beer, and trying to make it my own too. So, like I said, we wrote a business plan in 2010, shopped around the banks, finally got a bank loan, and then started looking for buildings. We started looking in Northeast Minneapolis because I'm from Minneapolis and we wanted to keep our business local. Having a name like 612 Brew is really important to have a local presence in Minneapolis when your name is named after the area code of the city. So we found Northeast Minneapolis with a great abundance of large industrial facilities with really tall ceilings, really big access to bringing grain in and equipment in, access to bring out, of course, finished products like kegs and cans. We signed our lease in May of 2012 for this place, and then started refurbishing this building. We're at 945 Broadway Street, northeast of Minneapolis, in the heart of Northeast. And when we found this building, it was underutilized. Nobody was in it, so they didn't have any tenants. They didn't have anybody currently using space. So the building owners and us, we rehabbed the whole space, built a really nice courtyard outside, really nice patio, amphitheater, and then of course rehabbed the inside too, saving all the original brick and timber of the building, but giving it a nice new feel. We built our own bar from refurbished bowling alley lanes. Worked with local artists like Adam Herman and Dave Witt to create some beautiful murals on the walls, and then created an open concept tap room where our guests would be able to sit here in the tap room and look at the brewery and see the brewers and see the people actually doing the work right in front of you. So you knew when you're drinking a pint of 612 Brew exactly where your beer was made. That open concept really, I felt, was important to letting the guests know that your beer is made here and it's local and it's delicious. So at 612 Brew, we've got 4 flagship variety beers, and all are located in our multi-pack as well. We've got our American Lager, which is Gateway Park. We've got our Rye IPA called Unrated. We've got our brand new IPA called IPA, and we've got our 3.9% brown ale called Session Dark. All 4 of these beers are located in our multi-pack too. So for those who say, I'm not a hophead, we've got a lager and a brown ale for you. And for those who are really interested in getting a lot of hops, we've got 2 vastly different IPAs. Our Rye IPA starts off with a nice burst of citrus from the hops. It's got a nice caramel center, and then it finishes spicy from the rye. While our IPA is bursting with notes of Simcoe and really juicy hop aromas, really soft, balanced flavors, and then finishes nice and dry too. So 2 totally different kind of IPAs for that hophead. And again, you can find those both in the multi-pack. We also do a number of seasonals, different varieties of beers throughout the season. Considering it's September, we launch our Oktoberfest. That comes out in August, and it runs through probably the first or second week of October. It's a great Märzen-style beer, which is a little higher in alcohol, a little more caramely flavor, but great for a nice cool fall, cool, crisp evening. Coming up with the concepts of new beers is fun, but it's challenging. You want to make sure that you're creating a beer that people want to drink, and not just going after something crazy. But also, you want to try and buck trends. You don't want to continually just make another IPA or make a pale ale or just make a standard lager. You want to give the guests something that they haven't tried before. So keeping that balance between true to style, but also being experimental is important. Luckily, our suppliers, who supply us with hops and grain, are always pushing the envelope, trying to provide new grains and finding new blends of hops that we as brewers can really utilize and create new beers and give guests new experiences that they've never had because we're using ingredients that people have never had. So it's really fun. What I like to think that we do really well at 612 is make really classic style of beers. Session Dark is just a nice brown ale. And IPA is just a quintessential IPA. Our Gateway Park is a nice American lager. And then our unrated is really one of the few rye IPAs in the market that you really can't find anywhere else. Our Meriton is a traditional fest beer, great example of just quality German lager. And so I look at these 5 beers and I say, look, these are the traditional examples of anything that I would want out of the style. They're not trendy. They will stand the test of time. They were, as important 5 years ago when we started our brewery as they will be 5 years from now. Someone's still going to want to be drinking a classic American lager. Someone's still going to want to be drinking a fest beer. These beers aren't going to go out of style. The trend won't fall off. They're really classic beers. But also, we do take chances. For our tap room, we do things like cranberry kettle sours, or we'll do a wild fermented peach ale. We do double IPAs. We'll do a Belgian quad. We'll do things that aren't necessarily always that quintessential lineup that you find in the stores, but more of a test of our brewers' aptitudes to try and do something a little more challenging for them and challenging for the guests to try as well. To me, I think that the best example of what a brewer can do is how their lager is. Lagers are typically more difficult to brew because you don't have a lot to hide behind. With an IPA, you can double hop it or triple dry hop it to muddle up maybe some imperfections in the beer. With lagers, you've got to have a really good brewing system to obviously create the best beer that you can. You've got to have a really good fermentation schedule, and you have to be strict on it, really regimented. You got to have a good cellaring process to filter the beer or to spin the beer to make it nice and clear. And there's nothing you can really hide behind. So if you have a bad lager, everyone's going to know about it. But if you have a good lager, everyone's going to know about it. So that's one of the beers that I'm really proud of. The unrated is one of my recipes that we still have today. We've retired another one of my beers. That was a pale ale. Unfortunately, pale ales just aren't as clamored about as other styles of beers. Pale ales are seen as kind of boring. So that's why you see a lot more lagers or blonde ales. That's why you see a lot more heavily hopped IPAs and double IPAs. The reason is because of the two ends of the spectrum. There's the people who really want that super piney, super tropical, super juicy IPA, and there's the people that want that really clean and crisp and refreshing type beer. And unfortunately, we don't see there's a lot of people who are just looking for that well-balanced pale ale. And unless your name is Summit EPA, there's not a lot of people making just traditional pale ales anymore. So that's a bummer, but it also opens up the door for other really cool beers that we can make. And it allows us, when we retire a pale ale, to bring out a brand new IPA and showcase that one. Of these beers, the only one is my recipe is unrated, but that's why we have a really good brewing team, so they can create and craft other really good beers that I'm super proud to drink and super proud to have our name on. You know, 612, like I said before, the name is synonymous with Minneapolis. We were one of the first production breweries in Minneapolis, one of the first tap rooms in Minneapolis too. So starting that that upward trend of Minneapolis in the brewing scene comes with a lot of great responsibility as well. You know, we work with local charities. We work with the community to give back. We every Wednesday we have a program here in the tap room where we give proceeds back to a local charity. We work with Eastside Neighborhood Services to do some give back programs for 612 Brew. And we also try and get our tap room included in it too. So not only the employees of 612, but also the guests and our patrons and our regulars can come through and be a part of our give back program where we have initiatives to work with the local community to help give our time and give our dollars back.